Hello, everyone. Welcome to the bush. This is our day 5 or so of our Australian Dharma teaching tour, meditation, retreat uh, in motion trip. I'm your uh, beloved and well known and former Buddhist monk host, Dr. Rob. Uh, if you get a lot of value, or if you get value from these teachings and you would like to support the community and you're in a good financial position, please feel welcome to reach out to WhatsApp or by email to make arrangement, to make a donation, to make an offering, to support this work, to support this movement, not just for me personally, but for the community moving forward, so we have access to more resources to do more good deeds, to do retreats like this, and you know, to have a good flow of generosity to make use of for everyone, for everything. The Australian Dharma meditation retreat trip tour, teaching tour, began with an arrival in Sydney, where I attended the Meta convention along with Aditya here. And we then took a train, multiple trains to arrive in Melbourne and to arrive at the home of Lee, who's another member of our community, a member of our Sangha, a former professional clown. And we were blessed to have this opportunity to actually come out to the bush, to come out to the Australian outback, and be in the realm of the original people of this land. So we're now, after many hours of driving, maybe up to 20 hours of driving through rough terrain, uh, outback roads. We've arrived at this mostly deserted center where we've met a longtime friend of Lee, Wally B, who's a caretaker for this land. And now we're here in the way of mindfulness and detachment, concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and concerned with doing good deeds without limits. This idea or this approach of doing good deeds without limits is not just all the things that we do or that we can do, but it is especially this kind of this way of giving up everything that is not concerned with awareness, giving away everything that is not concerned with like the 0 point. And we were talking as a group, especially with this caretaker Wally B, about people he's experienced and people that he's close with who have willingly kind of gone to 0, meaning have had no money, have had no resources, and have lived through the generosity of others. And if we cannot sacrifice all of these possessions, obligations, responsibilities, stories that are creating this infrastructure for our ego to keep sustaining itself, awareness is always going to be an idea. It's always going to be something for you to experience. But this awareness, or this immediacy, or this nature, or this flow of nothingness, is not accessible to you. You is irrelevant to non-separation, and nature operates on the principle of non-separation, of interbeing, or of a lack of independent essence. So the teaching is that there's not actually any independent essence in this cup. That this cup is not actually a thing that is in any way separate from everything. So how can we possibly understand that? How can we possibly grasp that? Well, the uncomfortable truth, or the unfathomable truth, is that we cannot understand that. We, as a separate individual, as a perceiver, cannot see that there is no perceiver, nor is there an object to be perceived. And in Buddhism, we can call this something like dependent co-origination, dependently arising, so that the irrelevance of thoughts is essential to thoughts. The lack of thinking is essential to the appearance of thinking. But this awareness, and you can't really put a good word to it. That's why the great masters, they're very poetic in certain ways. But this is almost like a realizing of the irrelevance of everything that you've thought about, that you've believed in, that you've gotten involved with as time has gone by. So we're always looking for something to get involved with, something to grasp a hold of, something to intensify our experience or make our experience more meaningful. And this is exactly what is antithetical to the way of listening. That's not about things. So the unconditionalness of this listening that has nothing to do with things is already. And we say, what about this? What about that? What if this? What if that? Why this? Why that? This is all adding onto or trying to build onto space. You can't build on space. What you may build is something that exists seemingly independently in space, but that is sure to dissolve. And actually, it wasn't there to begin with. That's what these teachings and that's what this way is all about. You taking responsibility for your own body, for your own mind, for your own experience, 100%. Concerned with the realizing, not of you, not of what's real to you, but the irrelevance of you, point blank, period. As if someone was holding a knife to your skull. That you are irrelevant. Now, who the hell is concerned with you being irrelevant? Who the hell is concerned with your desires and your fears being irrelevant? No one is. So ourselves being concerned with the path is kind of a false flag event. We don't want this. You don't want this. You don't want enlightenment, or you don't want to realize the absence of yourself, because that's like wanting death, or like wanting non-wanting. So it doesn't make any sense. One of the most important things that I've realized in my path and my practice is that I am totally inequipped to take care of myself. I am totally inequipped to live alone, to live independently. that I cannot rely on myself. Full stop. So when you experience or realize or bring up this notion that you cannot rely on yourself, but that all you have is yourself, there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that can fix this problem of the body and the mind. What we're learning to do here is to drop problem. There is no problem. There is the work and the development here is that there is no problem and there could never be a problem. That's a sage. That's an enlightened person. Let alone blaming someone else for your experience. Or it's like trying to blame the sky for the fact that you'll die. For sure, at any moment. So what we realize when we get ourselves acquainted with zero, this zero-sum experience, or this inescapable experience, is the importance of doing the work of being with what's happening inside you now. As if your whole body was locked into a sarcophagus, as if you were fully trapped. And sometimes you're fully trapped and you're also being tortured, so you'll have to learn how to be with that as well. But generally, if we're keeping precepts, if we're doing good deeds, if we're not having a bunch of sex, and during a retreat, during a period like this, sexual misconduct is kind of no sex, no sexuality. People get themselves into a lot of trouble, a lot of suffering when they masturbate, when they have orgasms, when they have sexual experiences. Because it perpetuates this notion of the efficacy of pleasure. The efficacy of pleasure is just equal to the efficacy of pain. So this is for people who are willing to give up pleasure to experience the giving up of pain, practically. People who are willing to give, donate, volunteer, surrender, offer, submit, to experience the freedom of relinquishment, the freedom of renunciation, the freedom of abandoning. You have to fight. Not with other people, not with the environment, not with the stories about your life and the stories about what's going on. You have to fight with this moment by moment experience of you suffering. You have to cross your legs and endure. You have to cross your legs and fight at those moments of suffering to get a slice of the pie, to get a bite of the meat of wisdom. Not even to talk about enlightenment. Talking about it, enlightenment is about as realistic as talking about what's going on way over there, from from the direct experience here. Enlightenment, I'm going to enlighten my foot up your ass. I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to fight you with a hammer, with a weapon, with a club. I'm going to burn you in fire. So it cannot be about other people. It cannot be about what's going on between me and someone else. And the reason that we cross our legs and try to focus on our breath and try to meditate, all of that is just fluff. But it's to lock yourself in this sarcophagus of responsibility for the direct experience, moment by moment by moment by moment. Now, that's not the only way to go about things, but that's one of the primordial tools that we have as modern people, for better or worse. And what that kind of primes you to do is it primes you to see yourself or see your moment by moment experience in a more suffering, raw, direct, clear way that is nonverbal. So our human experience is actually nonverbal. Your heart is nonverbal, your lungs are nonverbal, your eyes are nonverbal, your ears are nonverbal. Everything is nonverbal. Everything is not dictated. And dictation is itself an expression of that which is not dictated. Words are themselves an expression of that which is not based in words. Coming back to the cup, dependent co-origination. That this cup is all non-cup elements. That you are all non-you elements. This is where the realization comes in. This is where the slice of wisdom, pie of wisdom comes in. That you are entirely made up of non-you elements. That the body is primarily made up of non-body elements. That the mind is primarily made up of non-mind elements. That everything that you know and understand and experience is primarily made up of non-understandable elements. So the wisdom is not to understand everything, but to understand the everything that is already not something. So it's a lot less about being profound or having profound thoughts or being in a profound position, and it's much more about the shittiness of life being the fertilizer for you to plant seeds of the way that you want to be. And it is all discombobulated. There's no straight path from where we are as normal people. YouTube watchers, TikTok enjoyers, fashion holders, planners, thinkers, relationshipers. There's no straight path for us. It's more that the straight path is a kind of deconstruction of the path that we've been on, or all the different paths that we've been on and been identifying with and aligning ourselves with. I'm a monk. I'm a teacher. I'm a digital nomad. I'm a doctor. I'll be honest about it. I'm not a medical doctor. DR stands for, it can stand for a lot of things. Designated representative. That's what DR stands for me. Designated representative. Not of myself, because I'm self-directing, but rather a designated representative of the notion of non-self. The notion of not someone. The notion of not somewhere. We've been having some experiences recently where people have gotten upset, some of my students, because I've been a little bit rough and tough. How honored we should be to experience that. How honored we should be to be abused by our teacher, to be berated by our teacher, to be forced into submission by our teacher. How blessed we would be to be in that position. I was talking to a new student recently who reached out to me through WhatsApp, and you're invited. Everyone is invited if you're a part of this community and you've never reached out before, to reach out through WhatsApp and make a donation. It's a really important part of what this community is. Not just to support me, but also to support other members of the community if it comes up, if it happens. Big donations are big, small donations are small. But that's not about a certain monetary amount. It's about you. It's about the degree of your sacrifice, of your surrender. The queen didn't send you here. The king didn't send you here. You don't have a right to understand what this is. You don't have a right to understand my mind. You don't have a right to understand enlightenment or meditation or wisdom or compassion. You don't have a right to understand anything. You have a right to die. And it's not right or wrong to die. It just is. That's just the way that it is. And they said the typical thing. I've been trying to meditate more. I'm confused. Everything seems kind of, unstable and raw, and it's a little bit scary. And I said, look, you shouldn't be just fucking trying to meditate on your own. Do good deeds more. Your identity should be about doing good deeds. Your identity should be concerned with helping others. Your identity should be concerned with practicing generosity, concerned with enlightenment, concerned with Dr. Rob, fuck yeah. Concerned with your grandma, sure. If that's as close to, the Buddha as you can get is your grandma, then donate to her. But this is not an interpersonal action of helping someone. This is a way of you giving and surrendering and sacrificing your valuable time, your valuable energy, your body and mind. Anyways, try to do more in good deeds and less in just consuming and enjoying yourself. This way of being that we get ourselves involved with, of watching a bunch of TikTok, watching a bunch of YouTube, thinking all these profound thoughts and revolving in our own mind about who we are and what's going on and what spirituality is and what we're going to do in our life, is selfish nonsense. Especially if you're... So let's look at it from a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu point of view. Aditya does Jiu-Jitsu. If you're what's after white belt? Blue belt. If you're a blue belt, all right, you're a blue belt and all that, but you've got to kind of keep after it. You can't just lay back as a blue belt and say, I'm in a pretty good fucking position after all the work and training that I've done. It's kind of gotten into me. Who knows when a black belt or a green belt or whatever is going to come along, and you're going to have to deal with that. But if you're a black belt, drink beer, eat cheeseburgers, fucking relax. So how seriously do you want to develop in this way? And it's not, you can't just relax because now everything's finished and resolved and complete, because it's just a martial art. It's just something you can do. But rather you've realized the practice in daily life. You've realized life as the practice. Your life is jujitsu. There's no separation between jujitsu and your life. So if you haven't got to that level of specificity, you've got to surrender. You've got to give. You have to be willing to sacrifice, concerned with what you're interested and involved with. I'm not here to be a colonizer. I'm not here to force people to be seriously interested in enlightenment or non-self or impermanence or suffering and the cause of suffering and the end of suffering and the path. But that is what I'm concerned with. That's what my life is all about, especially when it comes to sharing with others or being with others. So if you're a white belt, if you're a blue belt, you have to take this very much more seriously than a black belt. I'm not talking about me or you, it's a principle. I don't get, I'm a fucking rainbow belt. I'm an LGBTQ belt, as far as most people seem to be concerned. And anyway, someone else's belt, it doesn't have anything to do with you. But if you're getting on the path and you're saying, okay, this is something that I need to make use of, you've got to start specifically making use of it. And the context or the community of monks and nuns and sangha, right, is an opening and an invitation and an opportunity where you can go to a place and you can focus all your time and energy on doing that subtle work, for developing that specificism. And, my work and my offering is to try and make this a place where, you can jump into a retreat modality, a way of being in retreat, and also a way of having the ego challenged in maybe a more accessible way than trying to sit down and study sutras, because that's very fucking specific, give you a headache. So what the world is full of, as Western people, as people online, as people on YouTube and TikTok people, Facebook consuming people and working people, is excuses and distraction. So what is the solution for excuses and distraction? Relationship, responsibility. We need to be more willing to take responsibility for what we're experiencing. We need to be more willing to take responsibility for Dr. Rob. If that's your shtick, or, and here we've, some of the people who have followed on YouTube and are interested in the teachings, that are coming out of this pie hole, we're stuck. Now we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. We have to take responsibility for each other. There's no choice. Not in some survivalist or community or, this guy's the teacher, da 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 way. We have to take responsibility for where our attention is, because that's where we're going to be able to look back and see what our intention is. Such as our intention to continue suffering, to continue being afflicted, to give our affliction to someone else. I am angry, so I want to give that anger to someone else. Well, that's a bad fucking gift. That's a bad donation. We're greedy. We want to give that greed to someone else. That's a bad donation. We have non-practical, complicated thoughts. I don't care what the fuck you're talking about if it's not about the truth, if it's not concerned with the truth, I mean, it's not concerned with specificism. But compassion is free of good and bad. So we listen deeply and we share deeply. And we fucking wish for that suffering to end, whatever it is, point blank. So in a sense, our work of meditating, but we want to focus on being concerned with the Sangha or a community that's concerned with enlightenment and has got stuff going on concerned with that, and the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha and the wisdom and the compassion. Do good deeds, follow precepts. I got a new modality. I got a new teaching modality, okay? Follow the 5 precepts as much as possible. 5 precepts. Follow the 8 precepts as regular, do it every now and again to be with the 8 precepts. Now, if you don't know what the fuck that is, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself with learning about what the 5 precepts are and what the 8 precepts are. We've got to clockwork orange our eyes open. We've got to sticky glue our ears open, because the way that we're living our lives is full on greed, anger, and delusion. What you sing Clockwork Orange? What did they say? A fucking bombastic evil time. We got all these people going around in Sydney drinking beer and wearing their little fucking open up button shirts after they take their suit tops off that are, $1,000 suits. And they're saying fucking, let's have a bombastic evil time. So you need to be re-educated. You need to be reorganized. The specificism and the depth of what is on the table here is fantastic and wonderful. Not because of me, because of the elders, because of the ancestors, because of the depth that something like Buddhism offers, because of the depth also that something of the native people of the land may offer for 60,000 years, a continuous culture, etc. Not to get into the weeds. But there's not just value scrolling mindlessly on bullshit on TikTok and watching fucking YouTube videos and smoking weed and drinking alcohol and fucking masturbating and fucking, reliving our trauma and trauma dumping and fucking going on our little spiritual journey. There is immense value in what is already free from self. From you, immediately. And if you're schizophrenic, if you're bipolar depressed, if you're a fucking loser, if you're a fucking freak, if you're the fucking worst person in the world, you're disabled, all that stuff, that's fucking great. Those are the people who are most welcome here, is the people who are fucking waddling around with traumatic brain injury. My ego isn't relevant here. Your ego isn't relevant here. Our concern with no is relevant here. Not me saying no to you, but the sky saying no to everything. Full on. And then from there, doing good deeds with mindfulness and detachment. And this detachment it's not easy to talk about that. It's like trying to talk about enlightenment or wisdom. But this detachment is the power to end suffering, to drop afflictedness, to drop anger, to drop greed, to drop non-practical, complicated thinking. And what do you primarily have to do? Well, you need a lot of blessings and you need a lot of openness. So you need to give and you need to endure. Giving and enduring. Okay, guided meditation and teaching is over now. Uh, we have some time for question and sharing experience. Two types of meditation, I'd say. This is just what's coming up for me. Two types of meditation. One is to sit and cross your legs and just fucking sit there and suffer. Breathe. You're going to have to breathe to stay alive, but just fucking sit there and suffer. These are exercises. And sometimes the suffering isn't very pronounced or strong, you know, it's just you're just sitting there and it's neutral or it's pleasant or it's unpleasant. But anyways, the suffer you're not fully satisfied. You're still, you know, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next, right? So you just sit there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just sit there and fucking suffer. You're not meditating to get enlightened, you're not controlling your mind, you're not developing your mind. Just sit there and endure you just sitting there and being in Shitsville. And that's especially good to do after you do something bad. After you find yourself wanking off all night to porn. All right, sit there and fucking eat the shit that you made. Eat the shit sandwich that you made. And if you're living, which is the more important point, right, is practicing generosity, doing good deeds, having the precepts, using them, and concerned with the way out of suffering, the meditation masters and the teachers, not people that are leaving comments on forums and discussing Buddhism by fucking Ajahn Brahm and Thich Nhat Hanh and who the fuck ever. Okay? Your lack of knowing about meditation masters and full-on, very developed, enlightened beings has nothing to do with the lack of those beings existing and being accessible today. The WhatsApp number. So that's one thing. Sit there and fucking suffer and be a loser and be a shithead and be schizophrenic and be people are outside your house banging on the door and there's secret things going on and secret thoughts and secret communications going on. Sit there and fucking suffer. Or it might just feel quite fine and pleasant, like right now, you know, just sitting here is fine enough. That's one. Two, this is the blessing. Stand up and open out and widen out just like this. Let your jaw drop. Come exercise this when you're with you. Oh, be careful, brother. All good. So just, yeah, get a good stance and just open up. Not DMT. This isn't about DMT. So just, you know, comfortable, normal, loose, natural. And let the jaw drop and just be in awe and give. Give the body, give the mind. And so in a modern spiritual, you know, interpersonal spiritual way about chakras and fucking kundalinis, you know, we'd be here jerking off with each other and, you know, let's look at each other's eyes. That's fine. Then maybe that's good. How do you feel? Loose, 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 loose. But it's more just, opening like that. And relaxing as you open, and give out the body, give out the mind. You can use a word like, if you're thinking, you can use a word like everything. So I don't want to get too specific about it, but standing up and walking and opening up like that. And it's almost like the kind of way of practice, the timing that you want to be on is a little bit like this. So the kind of timing that you kind of want to be on is like the timing of pouring water. So just watch as I pour this water. So it's like it's a flowing out of relaxing and giving. All beings need water. Here, you try to pour a little bit. Let me see your pour. You got to hold the spoon there too. And yeah. Yeah. Good. So it's almost that the pouring quality, like the quality of the water flowing out and emptying, is what you're doing in your body. So the anus is relaxing, the shoulders are relaxing, the stomach's relaxing, and it's just like the opening and giving. And you can walk like that as well. So you can stand and pour the water and the flowing, but then you can also be like the water flowing and walking like that and just opening, especially out here with this big landscape. So you're walking and giving, but you want to watch out for doing it like this, where the shoulders are like tense. It's more like that, and just natural. It's not some special walking. Yeah. Just normal walking, just normal, like walking and give, like if you were blessing the land, with your presence, with your awareness, like you're giving the blessing of awareness to the land. Here, let me give you treatment here. Good? Okay, thank you. All right, you're welcome. So it's like YouTuber.
Apologies for the delays in posting this video. I know it's been a while. I do explain later on
Great.
in the video why that is.
Great. That's fucking great. It's got 2 million views in 2 days. 1 million views a day. A little bit more.
I wanted to really quickly announce that I have some stand-up shows coming up on December 11th at Zanies and Rose.
Great. That's what I like to masturbate to. That's what I like to eat and watch, right? I mean, yeah, fucking yeah. But that's not concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. That's not concerned with the ending of suffering. That's not concerned with the teachings of the elders. So that's what you have to fucking digest and accept. That everything is not just some YouTube, TikTok, working at McDonald's, working in construction, working at a school, working at a fucking mine, or whatever. Everything is not just that. So just because there are things that you hear about that you don't know about, doesn't mean that things that you don't know about are under your dominion. And so you have to watch the mind, what you're watching, what you're listening to. Like, it's great. You do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for your health, or you're into arm wrestling like I am. Great. Go to Turkey and watch the fucking arm wrestling match. Or whatever. But you have to realize that what you're focusing on is concerned with something specifically that might be irrelevant for you ending suffering. And if we can't reduce and relax all these things that we're concerned with that have nothing to do with ending suffering, it might not be too surprising to realize that your suffering is not in the way of ending at all. So there's the ending of suffering, which is kind of like, a relief. And then there's an empowerment that comes through the ending of suffering. An empowerment of wisdom, an empowerment of compassion, an empowerment of being able to have more control over your mind, and for your mind to be more specific, more creative, more contemplative, more engaged, more robust, more meaningful. And if we don't have meaning in our lives, we need to bring meaning to our lives. So fucking Danny Gonzalez.
Mount Illinois. The last shows I did were so fun, so I want to do it again, and we've got some really funny comedians on the line.
Great. That's fucking, that's great. 2 million views, and that's great. But that's not concerned with ending suffering. So it doesn't matter how much you watch that to distract yourself, or because, well, that's just something I like. It's irrelevant, and it's also not specific as it relates to your mind. It's more like distracting yourself from your mind. Whereas this is all about you getting as close to your mind as possible, as close to direct experience as possible, as close to your center as possible. We were talking last night with Wally Boo, or Wally West, or Wally B, about coming and visiting the home of an Aboriginal or the native peoples and elders things. They said, and I said the same thing. I said, Art 7, don't you ever fucking come to my house and ask me a question. If you come to my house, bring a fucking donation. So one of the elements of this is
the link is in the description, but if not, then just enjoy this video, guys. This one's on
the perfectness of the presentation, how it's this perfect container. Life isn't like that, and spiritual teachings aren't like that either. It's the grit. It's the sand in your teeth. I have such a strong image The first ever Rains retreat I attended and went to was in bumfuck India, like real bumfuck India. I'm sorry, I got the Australian in me. And not in that way, but you know what I mean. And we were all these monks, mostly monks from Myanmar. And one day we were going out to beg, or we were going to some program somewhere. And so we were walking out, right? And there was like this dust storm going by. Because it's super rural. It's no vegetation. It's not lush. It's just like dust and sand up in outside Lucknow, in I guess Uttar Pradesh. And I saw this monk kind of turn towards the dust and take a big inhalation. So that's kind of what we're willing to do here, is take a big inhalation of the dust of whatever is. And when you fully can do that, you can choose, okay, I want to suffer or I don't want to suffer. And this applies to everything and everyone, because nobody wants to suffer. The dust of affliction, the dust of suffering, the dust of feeling the way you don't want to feel. So there are wonderful guided meditations out there. Fantastic guided meditations out there. But it's got nothing to do with you. I welcome the dust and doing affirmations. Anyway, please shut your mouth. What don't you all understand about not just yapping, but making donations? There are all kinds of wonderful meditation masters and guided meditation teachers out there, full on, 100%. And I'll give them to you. I'll do it. I'll do the work for you. I'll do it for free. I'll check my computer and I'll find the best guided meditation I can for you. You just got to send me a message and send me a couple $100. But this is a specialty of accessibility and communication. But we're not going to have fucking dunce hat wearing, weed smoking, drug addict, TikTok watching freaks come in here and think that they're just going to yap up a storm. You got to come correct. But this is a invitation for the accessibility of coming correct and being met in a correct way from a wealth of experience. Concerned with the ending of suffering, concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And if you're too lazy to find out and to look into what the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha is, join the club. Most people are too lazy to even be curious about a fucking lunatic online acting crazy. Even that is too much for them to do. Someone who seems to be at the edge of losing their minds entirely, and you're not even curious about that. Probably, maybe I need to lose weight or something, make people more curious. Or gain weight. Like the guy who wears a toilet seat on his head that gets 100,000, 200,000 views in an hour live streaming. All right, we'll finish with a short guided meditation. Breathe. Close those fucking eyes and focus on your fucking breathing. When you're aware of your breathing, shut that fucking yapper. Stop fucking thinking. Stop fucking talking in that fucking brain. Once that yapper is shut the fuck up and you're fucking feeling your breathing, and start to slowly feel your whole body from the center of awareness of the breathing in the body. Shut that fucking yapper. Breathe. Feel the awareness body in the breathing, in the stomach area. Just be with that. Be with that awareness of breathing. And let that awareness of breathing in the stomach kind of slowly creep out and spread out and flow out into the body. It's not about fucking feeling good. I don't give one fucking fucks in hell if you're feeling good or not. This is not about you fucking feeling good. Shut the fuck up and focus on your breathing in your belly and let the awareness fucking slowly spread out. It's got nothing to do with you fucking feeling good. But it does feel good to breathe. It is essential to breathe. So be with that essentialness of breathing. Relax. Let the body kind of become a body of awareness. Awareness breathing. Usually at this stage there's some little tensions that'll pop up or poke out and be noticeable in the body. So just notice and go back to the breathing and allow those to relax. So this practice of breathing as awareness, the body is awareness breathing. Mentally, we are giving an irrelevance to like and dislike. So for this period of, meditating or whatever, we're giving the irrelevance of liking and disliking. How or as what or through what? Just as the body breathing, the body is awareness breathing, the awareness in the stomach, even if it's tension, but you can feel the breathing in the stomach, So being as that, being through that, and then mentally blessing or offering to this body of awareness, breathing, the irrelevance of like and dislike. You have to keep giving. You have to keep giving that irrelevance of liking and disliking to the body as awareness. We can open our eyes gently. Just feel the body as awareness and the environment as awareness. Try to kind of look straight and look down. Don't look around. Don't look at things. Relax and release the whole body and mind construct. and just being as breathing. You got to fucking remember, it doesn't matter if it feels good or not. It's not about the like or the dislike of it. It's totally the breathing as awareness, the breathing body as awareness. So as long as you can be aware of breathing, then you're full on, mate. And then you're giving mentally. The body is relaxing because the awareness is in the body, because the awareness is with the feeling of breathing in the stomach or the gut. And then through that awareness in the gut, there's an awareness in the body. And that awareness in the body can notice any tension. So you just relax that tension. And then what you're giving mentally is you're giving this irrelevance or this willingness to be open to irrelevance of like and dislike, or pleasant and unpleasant, or neutral, or whatever. It's an irrelevance to however it is, because it's just continuing with going back to, returning to the moment breathing experience, and then the relaxing of the tensions that keep coming up, being back as breathing. And let your face relax and your jaw relax. Let the anus and the shoulders relax, the back relax, the feet and the calves, thighs. Widen out, open up, relax out. Hop! All right, everyone. So that's been our Dharma talk and guided meditation for today out here in the bush with our friend Aditya and our friend the bush. So we're going to get back to doing nothing over here. Please, if you want to reach out, let me know how your practice is going. Give me an update, introduce yourself. You can reach me by WhatsApp or email or whatever way you can figure out to reach me. And look forward to practicing together again soon. And we do live streams, as much as possible. So there's a lot of content, there's a lot of resources that's very fresh and very in the momentum of what's currently going on, and you're invited to key into this movement. Okay? Be safe out there, be kind, be gentle, relax, and, just allow. If suffering is there, allow suffering is there. If uncomfortableness is there, allow uncomfortableness to be there. It's not that big a deal that we're uncomfortable or that we're comfortable or that we're thinking about it this way or we're thinking about it that way. Release control and relax. Take a bath. Read a book on Buddhism.